Where shall we begin?
We get told this story every winter, the creation of Turtle Island. Many elders from all over Turtle Island have stories about how it was created. There was a great flood, and almost all cultures have a story of this great flood. In our story, we had a turtle, and it helped be refuge to all the animals and all the beings on Mother Earth when this flood happened. The birds would take turns resting on this grandmother turtle's back. I'm sure there's other variations and have pity on me as I try to tell this story in a good way. So all the animals tried, they all discussed what to do. And Sky Woman came down and said that they needed a little bit of earth to be able to create a new earth for all the animals to live on, all the beings of the earth to live on. And so each animal tried, and they tried, and many of them couldn't make it to the bottom of the water to get a piece of earth to help Sky Woman make this new bit of earth on this turtle's back. All of them tried. And finally, the muskrat, the tiniest of them all, and most of them didn't believe that the muskrat could do that, was Josh. Some of them, I think, even made fun of him for trying to think that he could do it when they all failed. But then the tiny little muskrat, insignificant as he was, thought to be, he swam all the way to the bottom and grabbed a bit of earth, and he made it back up, and he sacrificed his life to give us this Turtle Island, to give us a chance at hope at Turtle Island. And he came up, and none of the animals could believe it, but in his paw was a little bit of earth in the bottom of the water. And Sky Woman gathered the four winds, and they helped create this new Turtle Island that is today. And so Minnesota and around this area is the heart of Turtle Island. And all the fresh water that flows out from the heart of Turtle Island. The water is the lifeblood of the turtle that gives us all life here. If you can see on the picture, there's the Great Lakes, and Fond du Lac is right at the point of Lake Superior. This and Laurentian Divide is up here too. And you have the St. Lawrence River flowing out to the east. You have the Mississippi flowing out to the south. You have the Colorado flowing out to the southwest. You have the Fraser going out to the northwest, and then the Mackenzie and the Churchill going out in the north. And those are the arteries of Mother Earth. That's the arteries of Turtle Island. And now we're looking at 45 aquifer breaches in the heart of Turtle Island, the heart that beats to create the flow in all of these rivers and all the ones that go off of them to feed all the farms, all the forests, all the animals, all of what makes anyone have a life. They didn't just affect our population here as American Indians. They didn't just affect our treaty rights. And it was really hard to fathom way back when we were discussing these treaties and we were trying to tell them this is the heart of Turtle Island. I believe we even told them they could only do surface mining. They could only go elbow deep into the earth for this fact that this is the heart of Turtle Island, that if you pierce too deep, you're going to affect everything. And we tried to say this in every consultation since the first treaty. And we're suffering the consequences every time it's ignored. And our intelligence deserves to be respected, and consultation should always be a two-way street. It should not be set up and carried out in a linear model where we don't get to say what consultation looks like to us or what it means or what it is or how it's set up. We don't help create these agendas. We're not, all of our people are not at the table. our people are given a date and time to comply, to give their testimony, and if that doesn't work for them, they're left out. And that's not how we wrote treaties. That's not how we work together traditionally. And just because we've been forced genocide and assimilation doesn't mean we forget how to communicate with the United States government and their entities when it comes to our treaty rights. The education is lacking in our schools still to this day on what treaty rights are and how in history we have stood for them and how we have kept them. And it's not just for our benefit, but for the benefit of all the people on Turtle Island to have a right to clean water.
Wow. Thank you, Victoria. I just really appreciate you and your willingness to share with all of us on the team and our greater audience and partners and allies for this webinar. I know how important this work is, but it's also really important to understand that we are protecting the heart and the lifeblood of Turtle Island and the waters that flow in all directions from here.
A lot of our lakes are spring-fed lakes. The Mississippi is spring-fed. We're seeing the Mississippi going dry down south, and it's really frightening for there to be such a little understanding of the actual impacts that are happening, the little bit of barely information that's coming out. I think it's really important for the public to know that there has been drone data taken of all the line, and it's continuing to be taken, and that we're just trying to show the public what's going on because we don't believe any other entity is doing same or similar work. Otherwise, they would be reporting what we are reporting.
Being witness to these aquifer breaches and really seeing and feeling what it does to those landscapes, those wetlands, those waters as they move through, like it helps remind me of the great importance to protecting the natural flow and protecting the heart.
I think it's terrifying how much Indigenous knowledge has been ignored when, if it was heeded and if science was put to proving it quicker, how much more we would all understand and be able to respect things. After coming home to the reservation, learning from all these various elders our ways of doing things, it's a work in progress. But the more that we unveil about our history and our culture, the more we realize how quite intelligent we were and we are, and how the way we did things was in a way that we were working with the environment and never taking more than we needed. Never take it. And Mother Earth offered everything we needed at a certain time, and we respected those certain times. And we gathered what was offered. We didn't try to create, more or make something give us more. We just worked hard to gather what was offered in a respectful way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Victoria, and that idea.
And I think the greatest is working with Waadookawaad Amikwag has been, there is tribal consultation. There is natives and non-natives working together, trying to figure out what's happening on the land and trying to educate others about it. And I think what we're doing together is a really good start, an example that needs to be going on more often, is to be open-minded and inclusive and educational. And I think that's core to our purpose as Waadookawaad Amikwag.
Oh, that was beautifully said. There's nothing I can add to those words, Victoria. Thank you.